You want to get in there with a stiff, bristled brush. Welcome to Luthier's Tips, Tricks and Training from me, Ben Crow, at Crimson Guitars, and this is a quick one. Do not do this at home. Do not use cream-based furniture cleaners, wood cleaners, furniture polish on your guitars, period. If you get an instrument in, if you're a repair person, or if you have done this in the past, there is a fix, and it's not too much of an issue. And I've been going through many different techniques, and I've got a winner here. One of the issues with this furniture polish is that I have seen on many guitars that it lifts the glue. It slowly over time destroys the glue that holds acoustic guitar scratch plates, pick guards down. We had a Gibson Hummingbird in where we had to completely replace the pick guard because it just killed it. It's not fun. It's thoroughly avoidable. There are products, we make some, other people make others, you know, your choice, that are fantastic at cleaning guitars, fantastic at getting the sweat, the grime, the random beer that's been thrown at you off the instrument and keeping it safe. A cream-based cleaner polish is not the one.
Burn it.
Now the main issue you can see on the fretboard here is that the wood has not been cared for. A fretboard needs to be oiled. It needs to be fed, or your moisture barrier is gone. If your fretboard gets too dry, you remove a moisture barrier. The back of your neck has got a finish on it in 99.9% of cases. That means that the back of the neck is not reacting to humidity changes and the just general weather in the same way that the front of your guitar is. If you've got a dry fretboard that has not had a fretboard restorative or a good lemon oil, none of this 90% petroleum distillate stuff that just dissolves into the air in 5 seconds. If you do not feed your fretboard, you're going to have an uneven barrier between the front and the back of the neck, and the fretboard takes on a lot more atmospheric humidity and moisture, and then your neck will move far more than it would otherwise. So don't forget that. Change the strings, give it a little bit of oil. You can see cream built up around the scratch plate there, and that's where the glue is going to be eaten away. And you know, if for no other reason than it looks horrible, you don't want to do it on your bridge. If the cleaner gets under there and starts delaminating your bridge, well, your guitar is not going to be happy. In this case, we've got a lot of grain filled with this gunk. We need to get that all the way out. It's not good just removing the surface. We need to kill it dead. Now you can use lighter fluid and very harsh chemicals to go in and hopefully dissolve some of this nastiness. It's the same thing where you have lots of sweat and gunk and grime in there. It does work, but that rips even more moisture out of the fretboard and can cause more of a problem long term. But I have a solution. This stuff is absolute magic. Vulpex Liquid Soap. It doesn't sound like something that you want to put on a guitar. It is from a completely different industry, that of museum restoration, collections, antiquities, things that do not have a value because they are absolutely priceless, things that you want to be very careful with. And I'm well known for taking in information and studying and learning from as many disparate crafts and disciplines as humanly possible. And I love watching restoration, proper restoration, not I've made this thing rusty, let's make it unrusty. And this is one of the products that, it's actually a UK company, this is one of the products that comes up with regularity. Safe, non-toxic, deep searching cleanser for all surfaces and materials, dissolves and emulsifies dirt, soot, grease. This is concentrated, diluted with water or white spirit, which is very interesting. Focus. Okay, now I love this. Now it's focusing on something else. By appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, supplier of products for restoration and conservation. This is not a paid for video. This is not, the company don't even know that I'm doing this. They don't know that I've got this, I don't think, except for the fact that we've started buying it because I feel that it is going to be so useful to guitar repairers and restorers. If you are elsewhere in the world, it's available worldwide. You don't have to buy it from us, although I would appreciate it. Here is a pre-diluted jar of the stuff I've been playing with for about 6 months now. It does smell. It's pH neutral, it's safe on a billion different surfaces. Genuinely incredible. Use a cotton bud to apply. Now, you don't particularly want to get this on your hands. It emulsifies fat and grease and dirt, and it will do the exact same to you. If you do, it's not a problem. Just make sure to moisturize properly. Now, a lot of that is just the wood. The next stage in this particular case, because we've got an open grain wood, we want to get in there with a stiff bristled brush and just cut off some of the excess on here and work the soap into the grain. This is diluted with water. We've got a very dry fretboard. That's not an issue in this case. Well, it's not an issue actually, and I wouldn't use the white spirit for the aforementioned reasons. In the interests of completion, I go back, add a little bit more. And it is important to neutralize this soap when you're done. And it is also important to have water on your bench in things that you aren't tempted to drink out of. So when you are happy that the area you're cleaning is clean, you neutralize it with water with a couple of applications. So that there is now cleaned. We've taken the Vulpex off, and the fretboard is going to dry slowly. Come on, you're supposed to disappear on camera and look amazing. Now obviously test any new product in a sort of discrete area before you use it. I have personally used this on oil finishes, on nitro and poly and raw wood, and oil paintings and silver and gold leaf. Now the water here is obviously going to potentially slightly raise the grain. Doesn't really happen very often with fretboards, but it could make it a little bit furry. And the final stage of the cleaning process is actually fret rubbers. From the moment we released the fret rubbers, the title has always been, and this was like 10, 15 years ago, the title has always been Fret and Fretboard Rubber. Not enough people use them. It is a micro abrasive, it is very, very, very fine, and if you've got a huge amount of gunk on your fretboard that you want to physically remove, going in there with a scraper that leaves visible scrape marks is not the way. A micro abrasive suspended in rubber that's ergonomic and easy to use and quick and actually polishes the fretboard and gives you a better finish really is the way forward. I'm not just trying to focus on products that we at Crimson Guitars sell. If you've got fret rubbers by somebody else, same rules apply. I'm taking back the channel and taking this back to where it was, which was tips and tricks and teaching and useful things and things that I've learned over the years that I think you should know, and this is one of them. While that's drying, I'm going to apply some to the bridge. First of all, a little bit of masking tape, which I'm going to stuff inside to protect the piezo. Something else to bear in mind here is that the cotton bud, oh come on, do what you're doing, do what I'm telling you, there we go. The cotton bud is a micro abrasive in its own right, and you don't want to give it too much force when you are playing around, and yes, all guitar building is playing around to me, with on a high gloss finish. So around the edges of this, I'm going to be very, very gentle. I could have done that a little bit more elegantly, I think. I'm not going to be flooding this. If your bridge dries out too much, it is also going to be moving a lot more than the wood that it is adhered to, and you have a potential issue with it lifting too much. Well, lifting too much. Lifting, in any case, is problematic. Now, I have not experimented with this stuff and hide glue. I would try and avoid hide glue joints. I suspect that it would dissolve the collagen, I think, and potentially that could weaken the joint. So just be careful and be aware. Run tests. And if you run tests with this and find interesting stuff, please get in touch. I love knowledge, even when it proves me wrong about something. Almost especially when it proves me wrong about something. Strong opinions loosely held. Believe what you believe based on evidence and available facts, and support that with strength and vigor, and believe in yourself, definitely. But do not believe in yourself to the exclusion of new data and new facts. Always be ready to change direction if you are proven wrong. I love pushing boundaries. I love finding new things out. I love trying new things, even if there's a chance of it going wrong. The hunt for new knowledge and new processes seriously excites me. So, yeah. And then I'm going to leave it to sit with the Vulpex on there for a while, just to dissolve the sort of cream and grease and nastiness that is in there. This is another reason why this is better than using lighter fluid or something like that. It sits and it quietly eats the nastiness and gets rid of it without working basically immediately, and just ripping it out with a quick and unceremonious process. All right, be back in 5 minutes. Neutralise it with water. What a difference. And I, on purpose, didn't say water difference. Dad jokes. What's your favourite dad joke? Put it in the comments. Okay, so you can see the difference between this half of the fretboard from that fret and the one I haven't touched yet. Going in with a crimson medium fret rubber across the grain. Now, incidentally, if you do end up using, for example, super glue to glue your frets in, if you end up having to scrape that super glue off, this is the perfect way to refinish the fretboard. Scrapers, scraping, razors, etc. always leave witness marks, evidence of what you've done, and you have to go back in afterwards and sand it. Sanding it in this way, it doesn't involve paper, it doesn't involve hitting the tops of the frets and ruining your crowning and having to go back and polish frets, etc. It's better. Now obviously that's medium, the fine, and then the super fine. And even with the medium, I can't see any scratches, any scratch marks. It's a very, very fine abrasive. This is after the fret rubbers on the bridge and this portion of the fretboard. That's what it was before, and that's where we're at now. No scratches, no damage, and shinier frets too. I'm going to go through with some crimson fretboard cleaner just to clean off any detritus left by the fret rubbers or the cleaner. And then it's oil. A little bit of fretboard cleaner, well, fretboard and finish cleaner. Do not forget that. The fret rubbers are rubber, at least in part, and a little bit of that tends to get left in place. You need to get rid of it with a brush. There is also silicon carbide in there, and you want to take that off. Fretboard Restorative. This stuff is magic. It does not have petroleum distillates and all that stuff. You can use it as a massage oil. I'm wondering about applying it with a Q-tip actually. Ooh, I like that. And this restorative, this oil, is to be left on for quite some time to allow it to soak into the wood as much as it can. Especially in this case, I want to put on more than I normally would because this is a starving fretboard. With a well-maintained guitar, you don't need huge amounts. I've let this settle for about 10 minutes. It's starting to dry up on the edges, and the fact that it's not sucking up into the wood anymore means that I am happy now to buff away the excess with a nice dry piece of tissue paper. I get a large amount of joy from taking something that looks nasty and unloved, even if it's just through, you know, ignorance of the proper products to use, and bringing it back to life. What we started with and what we ended up with. And I now regret leaving the other half of the fretboard. We could have just edited in a before photo. Now I've got to go through the whole process again on half a fretboard. Damn it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.